Here's a clip from a recent episode of Booked on Rock. My guest is Nicholas Tochka, author of The Musical Lives of Charles Manson, The Beatles, The Beach Boys, and the Invention of the Sixties, or No Sense Makes Sense. So Charlie still had hopes of a career in music at this point. Now, you mentioned Terry Melcher. So let's talk about Terry Melcher now. Doris Day's son, music producer, connected with the Byrds, really well known at the time. He meets him through Dennis Wilson, right?
That's right. So this is another kind of point within the story where, again, narratives are really, they conflict with each other. Terry Melcher was the tenant at the Cielo Drive house where the Tate killings happened, where Sharon Tate, wife of Roman Polanski, an actress, was living for the first night of the murders. There's some evidence, and here we haven't yet mentioned his name, but I should bring up probably the most recent big book about the Manson killings is by Tom O'Neill, and it's titled Chaos. And it really delves into all of the conspiracy theories that were swirling around then up until now. It's based on a lot of reporting and interviews that he did, that this is where these ideas of Terry Melcher being much more involved in a more long-standing way with the commune most recently have come from. So the idea that Manson and the group had maybe even been to Cielo Drive, had been somehow associated with Melcher and others prior to the killings. A lot of this evidence comes from his book, which kind of paints this really sort of conspiratorial image of possible government involvement, of possible conspiracy theories behind the scenes, which
CIA mind control.
Exactly. That this is his thesis is that there was this, there was a project MK Ultra that was a CIA funded mind control program that, according to O'Neill, had offshoots in California that brought Manson and the commune possibly directly into, he suggests that at times maybe the Manson family was itself a government experiment gone wrong, that Charles Manson's parole officer was someone who was heading a kind of a government trial to see how speed could influence and even foment violence within the counterculture. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, but that's because, you know, the story about Melcher is really, really complicated. And within sort of my book, one of the things I try to do is to historicize this conspiracy theorizing, because O'Neill wasn't the first one to be suggesting this. In fact, countercultural newspapers at the time were beginning to suggest that maybe the government had put the Manson family up to this to discredit the counterculture.
As far back as the late 60s, early 70s, huh?
As early as late 1969, countercultural newspapers were mentioning this. As early as 1970, 1971, Mae Brussels, the sort of conspiracy theorist par excellence, was positing that the Manson commune was somehow related to government programs. For sure.
And the idea that it went too far. And after what happens with the murders, that now they want to suppress, they don't want anybody to know about it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It went too far. Experimentation that went drastically too far.
Either the commune were sort of unknowing dupes who were being drugged or fed drugs or sort of put into this sort of pressure cooker situation to see what would happen, or that Manson himself was somehow directly connected to government agents. I mean, these are the conspiracy theories.
Thanks for listening. The full episode is available wherever you get your podcasts.